Alright, welcome to our first video on our quadratics unit, and we are going to be reviewing or going over adding and subtracting polynomials. And in the next slide we'll talk about what is a polynomial. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about polynomials and adding and subtracting them. But first let's take a look at what a polynomial is. And a polynomial is an expression made up of a monomial or a sum or difference of the monomials. So what does that mean? So a monomial just means one term. So we could have the term 2x. That is a monomial. When we start adding pluses and minuses in there, then it becomes a polynomial because we have more than one term. So this polynomial has 1, 2, 3 terms, and all of those terms by themselves are what we call monomials, and they're connected by plus and minus signs. Polynomials can be named based on its number of terms and its degree. So let's go back to this example below. This polynomial has 3 terms, so we can call that a trinomial, and its degree is the highest exponent. So this degree is 4, so this would be called a 4th degree. In this case, it's a trinomial. And after trinomial, we just continue to call it a polynomial. So polynomials have a standard form, just like there's the standard form of a linear equation, of an exponential equation, the standard form of writing your answers. Polynomials have a standard form, and we'll go back to that example I had on the bottom. And standard form just means the degrees of its monomial terms decrease from left to right. So what does that all mean? So let's go back to this example. So if we want to write this in standard form, that just means we start with the term that has the highest exponent, and that would be this one right here, which is negative 2x to the 4th. Then we go with the term that has the next highest exponent, which is this term right here, which is plus 2x. And then constants are always last. Always, always, always there on the end, because really that has an exponent of x to the 0. So standard form just means that we are going to write this with its exponents in order from greatest to least, and constants will always go last. So let's take a look at example 1. In example 1, we have 2 terms. So this has 2 terms, and we call that a binomial, and its degree is the 1st degree. So it's a 1st degree binomial because this x has an exponent of 1. So if we want to put this in standard form, variables go first in order from their exponents in order from least or greatest to least, and then constants always go last. So this is a 1st degree binomial, and negative 2x plus 5 is the standard form. Let's take a look at example 2. Example 2, it has 3 terms, so that means it's a trinomial. And when we're looking at the degree, we need to see which exponent is the highest, and this would be a 4th degree trinomial. So if we want to put it in standard form, we look at the term with the highest exponent, and that would be 3x to the fourth. The next term with the next highest exponent is plus 2x squared, and again, constants go last. So what do we do with these? Well, we can add them, we could subtract polynomials, and we can divide polynomials and multiply. And today we're just going to focus on adding and subtracting. And it's no different than when you were combining like terms in 6th and 7th grade. So we are going to add polynomials. And add polynomials, you have to think, okay, we are just going to combine like terms. So if we want to simplify number 3, and I'll make it a little bigger so we can see it, the parenthesis is just separating the two trinomials. In this example here, it's a trinomial because it has 3 terms. It's a second degree. And this is also a second degree trinomial because it has 3 terms. And it's just addition, so if there's a plus sign here, we really don't need to worry about the parentheses. So we are just going to combine like terms. So I have a 4x squared plus 2x squared, and that's going to give me 6x squared. The base and the exponent have to be the same, and the coefficients we just add. So now I look at my next term. I have a plus 6x, so I'm looking for another term that has a base of x with an exponent of 1, and I have a minus 9x, so 6x minus 9x is going to give me a minus 3x. And then finally, I'm going to look at my constants. I have a plus 7 and a plus 1, and 7 plus 1 is 8. Now we want to check to make sure this is in standard form. And we have our decreasing exponents, x squared, x to the first, and constants always go last. So what we ended up with here is a trinomial because it has 3 terms, and it's a second degree trinomial. Let's go ahead and try number 4. Same thing, there's a plus sign right here, so that means that I don't have to worry about the parentheses. I don't have to distribute anything. So we're going to look at 12m squared plus 8m squared, and that's going to give us 20m squared. Just add the exponents, keep the or add the coefficients, and keep the base in the exponent. It's just like terms. And then the second part of that, I have a plus 4 and a plus 5, and 4 plus 5 is 9. So if I wanted to name this in terms of its degree and the number of terms, this would be a second degree. And in this case, there's 2 terms, so it's a second degree binomial. The one over here, in our example over here, this is also a second degree because the highest exponent is 2, but there's 3 terms, so this is a second degree trinomial. So again, when we're adding, we just add the coefficients, keep the variable and the exponent the same. We just want to look for like terms. Now with subtracting polynomials, what do we need to do first when we're subtracting polynomials? And what we need to do first is distribute the negative, the minus sign. Well, what's that mean to distribute the negative? So let's take a look at example number 5. We want to simplify this and then write it in standard form. So if you look right here, we are subtracting this entire term. So just like when we were doing elimination in systems of equations, we have to subtract every term. So really, we have to distribute a -1 to everything inside these parentheses. So this first trinomial is going to stay the same. But now we're distributing out that -1. So this second trinomial is going to be minus x cubed. A -1 times a -8 is plus 8x squared, and a negative 1 times a positive 11 is a minus 11. Now we can go ahead and do what we did for addition and just combine like terms. So I have 2x cubed minus x cubed, and that's just going to give me 1x cubed. Then I look for my x squareds. I have a plus 5x squared plus 8x squared, and that's going to give me 13x squared. Next I have a minus 3x. I don't have any other x's on the other side, so I'm just going to rewrite my minus 3x. And finally, I have a minus 11. There's no other constants on this right side, so it's just minus 11. And then this is my final answer. Check to see that it's written in standard form, and it is, because my exponents are in decreasing order and my constant is always last. Go ahead and try number 6 on your own, and then pause the video, and then restart the video and check your answer. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to distribute a negative 1 to everything inside the parentheses. So this first trinomial is going to stay the same. A negative 1 times 9v cubed is minus 9v cubed. A negative 1 times a negative minus 7v squared is going to give us a plus 7v squared. And the negative 1 times a positive 3v is going to give us a minus 3v. So again, we're going to look for like bases with like exponents. So v cubed minus 9v cubed is 8v cubed. 6v squared plus 7v squared is going to give us 13v squared, and that would be a positive 13v squared because it's a positive 6 and a positive 7. And then finally we have a minus v here and a minus 3v here, so really there's a 1 there, and we get minus 4v, and there's no constants to worry about. So if we want to check to make sure this is in standard form, my exponents are in decreasing order from 3 to 2 and then to 1. So let's take what we've learned up here and apply it to this word problem right here. The perimeter of a triangular park is 18x plus 5. If two of the sides measure 5x minus 1 and 3x plus 8, what is the missing length? And we're going to draw a picture first. So here is my triangle, and we know that one of the sides is 5x minus 1 and the other side is 3x plus 8. And we also know that the perimeter is 18x plus 5. So we have to find this missing side right here. So if I know if I add up all three sides, I get the perimeter of the triangle. So I would get 18x plus 5. But I only have 2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add those two sides. So we're going to add 5x minus 1 plus 3x plus 8. Combine like terms, 5x plus 3x is 8x. And then a minus 1 and a plus 8 is a minus 7. Now we need to take this new term and subtract it from our perimeter. So our perimeter is 18x, so we're going to subtract. Our perimeter is 18x plus 5, and from that we need to subtract this entire binomial, 8x minus 7. So this is where we don't want to forget about distributing out that negative. So when we do that, the 18x plus 5 remains the same. We get minus 8x, and this should be a plus 7. We get minus 8x, minus 7. Combine like terms, 18x minus 8x is 10x. and a positive 5 minus 7 is a minus 2. So the missing side of this triangle is 10x minus 2. And we can check to see if we did that right. If we do 10x plus 5x plus 13x, we get 18x. And if we do 8 minus 1, that's 7. And 7 plus a negative 2 is 5. So we did this answer correct, or this question correctly. Okay, now it's your turn to answer a couple of questions and submit your answers on the Google form. In question number 1, we are subtracting from 8a to the 5th plus 10a to the 3rd. We are subtracting the polynomial, in this case it's a binomial, 13a to the 5th minus 7a to the 3rd. So make sure you distribute out this negative, and your final answer needs to be in standard form. And standard form means it has decreasing exponents. Question number 2 is an addition problem, so addition's a lot easier. We are just going to combine like terms, so we're adding 17x squared plus 7x minus 14 plus the polynomial negative 6x squared minus 5x minus 18. Make sure you're filling out the Google form, and if there's any questions, please put those in the Google form as well.